Hey everybody, welcome back to It's Only Food. Today we are making an Egyptian dish called koshary. Don't go away. Alright, well thanks a lot. Welcome back everybody to It's Only Food. My name is Chef John Politte, and like I said earlier, we will be making koshary or koshary today on It's Only Food. So let's get into the kitchen and see what our ingredients are. We have 3/4 cups of lentils, 3/4 cup of uncooked long grain rice, 1 cup of elbow macaroni, 2 large onions chopped, 2 large cloves or 4 small cloves of garlic, 1 can of diced tomatoes, 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, which is optional, and of course salt and pepper to taste. So let's head into the kitchen and start on this fantastic dish. Well, I've got my lentils and my rice and my macaroni all measured out ahead of time, but what I want to do now is I just want to cook the lentils and the rice together and then cook the macaroni separately as we do our prep on the onions and the garlic, because we're going to saute that up, and then that's going to be our topping with the tomatoes in it for the dish when it's finished. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to cook the lentils, get those softened up, then we're going to add the rice, and then in a separate pan we're going to cook the macaroni off as we do our prep. Alright, so I'm going to take our pre-measured lentils, that's 3/4 cup, and it says to add 4 cups of water, and we're just going to let that boil. Remember, we're going to be adding rice to this, and it's already got the lentils, so remember when we cook all this stuff that rice, 1 cup of rice is actually 2 cups of cooked rice, and the lentils are just going to expand and cook as well, so you want to add plenty of liquid to get this all going. Meanwhile, I've got our water going right here for our macaroni. That's about 3 cups of water for 1 cup of macaroni, because I want to make sure I got plenty of liquid with that. We will drain it if there is too much water. Now we're going to get on to the prep of cutting up our onions and garlic, because we're going to saute that up and add the tomatoes to it. This is a very simple dish. Alright, first we're going to do is we're going to clean our garlic. That means taking the skins out. I'm just going to rough cut this so we got nice big pieces in there. Now I'm using more than what the recipe calls for onions, because the onions are also, after they've been cooked off with the tomato, they're going to be a garnish. Not only are they part of the dish, but they also going to be garnish. Alright, we're just going to be sauteing these onions with the garlic, and also some tomatoes after they get sauteed a little bit. So I'm just slicing these up. There's our bowl of aromatics. We see that our lentils are boiling. It takes about 25 minutes for these to get to where we want them to be before we add the rice. And we can see here that the water is boiling for the pasta. So I'm just going to add our pasta. Now the total time for the cooking of the lentils is about 25 minutes before you add the rice, and then when you add the rice it's another 20 minutes. So total cooking time for those two components is about 45 minutes, 50 minutes. The macaroni takes about 8 minutes to cook. I know from the research I've done that the street food and the street vendors in Cairo and other places in Egypt, they'll have all the components, the lentils, the rice, and the pasta all separate, and then they will cook them to order as you order it for people coming through and ordering it. They will actually, they'll have their pan, their pot, whatever they use to cook it, and they'll add the ingredients all separate, and then they'll just make it to order for you right there. And then they top it with that wonderful tomato sauce with the garlic and the onions. All right, well, the pasta is just about done. I'm going to go ahead and drain that so we have a space for our pan here so we can saute up our garlic and onions and add the tomato sauce. Our lentils have been cooking for about 20-25 minutes. Now I'm going to add the rice to this. Remember, most of that liquid will dissipate and also cook into the rice. I am just going to mix that up and let that go for about 20 minutes. All right, just going to rinse the pasta out, get all the hot water out of it, rinse it so it stops cooking, and then we can just add that to the dish right before we make it for presentation. This allows it to stop cooking. So, all right, we got our pan set on high, medium high. I'm going to add some olive oil right there. We're going to let that get hot, and then we're going to add our aromatics. We're just going to let these cook down until they are translucent. Meanwhile, our lentils and rice are cooking down quite nicely. All right, I think we are where we want to be with our onions. They're browning up. So now I'm just going to add a can of tomato. Don't worry if the liquid in there will cook out. We're just going to let this all marry together and cook. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cook, because it doesn't really tell me what to do here, but I'm obviously going to cook it until most of the liquid is gone from this, because I don't want our koshary to be too liquidy. Alright, we have all of our components ready to go. We've got our pasta cooked off. We have our rice and our lentils cooked and ready to go. And of course we have sauteed our onions and garlic off with the diced tomatoes in that sauce that is cooked down to a rich ragu or broth. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to plate it up. We are going to take some beautiful pictures of it at different angles for social media. And we're going to put those into the timeline with a wonderful soundtrack underneath and present it to you. Here you go. All right, well, I'm ready to taste this because it smells fantastic. So I get a little bit of that lentil and macaroni. You can definitely taste the garlic and the onion. The garlic doesn't overpower it, but it is a really good flavor. Very earthy, very savory. Very good flavor to this. Now I'll get the tomato and the garlic. That tomato and garlic, that is very good. I did garnish it with some chickpeas or garbanzo beans and a little bit of green scallion on top. Chive, sorry. But this is very good. Only thing I would have done was probably add some hot sauce to it. Well, this has many influences into it, of course, with the rice from the Orient and of course the macaroni or pasta from Italy. Being that Egypt is in the middle of that trade route with the spice route, you can see where the influences are in this dish and the many flavors into it. I love fusion food. I love the history of food, and this has a lot of history to it. This is actually a There is no animal fat in this. It's mostly all vegetable. This is also a Christian dish that can be eaten in an Arabic country. So it's got a lot of history to it. Go ahead and Google it, because I'd spend an hour trying to explain everything about this dish. But food-wise, this is very, very good. It's got a lot of flavor to it. It's got an earthiness to it. It can be served as a main dish or a side dish with lamb or chicken or whatever. I can't say enough about it. So thanks so much for joining us today. This has been It's Only Food. Make sure you go to my website at itsonlyfood.biz and check out all my seasonings and spices and rubs that I've got available to you. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. Please leave a comment below to let me know what you think. And don't forget to share this with everybody you know. And always remember, there's no such thing as a celebrity chef, only celebrity food. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time right here on It's Only Food. Bye-bye.